In this video, I will talk about one of the most common mistakes that parents make at this stage, which is introducing sleep props. This is an important aspect which can make a significant difference in a child's sleep pattern in the future. So what are sleep props? A sleep prop refers to any device or an object or an activity that a child can become dependent on to fall asleep. They are also known as sleep associations. This implies that a child associates falling asleep with a certain object or activity and over time becomes dependent on it. A lot of parents make the mistake of introducing sleep props early in a child's life, hoping that it will make it easier for their child to fall asleep. While it may seem to work in the short term, it leads to a lot of problems in the long term. So follow the advice that I will provide you in the subsequent sections, and it will help your child achieve a good sleep pattern when he or she grows much older. So what are the different types of sleep props? Sleep props can be objects such as a soother or a pacifier, or it can be an activity such as rocking a child to sleep. The common sleep props that parents often introduce are rocking, phones, swinging the child, pacifiers and soothers, taking the child out in a stroller or in a car. All of these work as sleep associations for the child. Parents are usually shocked when I tell them that it is better not to introduce any sleep prop and encourage a child to fall asleep on his or her own. This is because introducing the sleep prop now will make the child dependent on it to fall asleep in the future. I have observed situations where children as old as 18 months also rely on sleep props to fall back to sleep. Additionally, sleep props prevents the child to learn an important skill known as self-soothing skills. Self-soothing skills is the natural ability of children to put themselves back to sleep without the help of anyone or any object. Achieving self-soothing skills is an important milestone. Therefore, ensure that you do not introduce any sleep prop right from the beginning. You are at the perfect juncture in your child's life when avoiding introducing these sleep props will save you from a lot of trouble of eliminating them in the future. Always remember, eliminating sleep props once your child becomes dependent on them is a very difficult task. Parents often ask me how to avoid using a sleep prop when a child wakes up at night. Since you have watched the video on stages of sleep, you now understand that almost all children wake up during the night depending on which stage of sleep they are in. Awakenings are a natural part of the sleep cycle. It is natural for all children to wake up multiple times during the night. Even adults do the same. However, adults are capable of putting themselves back to sleep on their own. Hence, they don't even realize that they had an awakening. Adults are equipped to self-soothe themselves back to sleep without anyone's help and without any sleep prop. However, at this stage, children are not capable to self-soothe themselves back to sleep and require help from parents to fall back to sleep. Since feeding is the easiest method to put a child back to sleep, a lot of mothers feed the child every time a child wakes up at night. As a result, over time, a child tends to become dependent on feeds to fall back to sleep. But does a child need to be fed every single time? Not every awakening during the night implies that a child is hungry and needs to be fed. Children at this stage wake up at night due to a lot of reasons, and most of the time require only comforting to go back to sleep. Hence, If the child wakes up within 2 hours of previous feeding, then try to comfort the child back to sleep instead of feeding again. Even in this case, try and pat the child back to sleep and avoid activities such as rocking. Activities like rocking and swinging also quickly become sleep props. Remember, the goal is to not allow a child to get dependent on any object or any activity to fall asleep. This will help a child attain self-soothing skills much earlier. So even at this stage, if you have already unknowingly introduced a sleep prop, then it's now time to remove it. While it may seem like a hard thing to do now, it will only get harder in the future as a child will become more dependent on it. Therefore, stay strong during the initial protests, and soon your child will learn to fall asleep on his or her own without the help of any specific activity. To conclude, one of the most important steps in achieving good consolidated sleep for your child is not to introduce sleep props at this stage. A sleep prop refers to any device or an object or any activity that child becomes dependent on to fall asleep. A child can fall asleep independently and without any sleep prop. This is what we refer to as self-soothing skills. Achieving these self-soothing skills is an important milestone. Ensure that you do not introduce any sleep prop right from the beginning. This will help the child achieve self-soothing skills much easier.